Some childhood memories were so scary to me that I'll never forget them, like this one memory I'm about to share with you. This happened during summer vacation in July of 2013 when I was about 10 years old. My parents had booked an Airbnb cabin in Estes Park, Colorado. We wanted to spend time near Rocky Mountain National Park, enjoy hiking, and just get away from city life in Denver for a few days. We arrived at the cabin late in the afternoon. It was cozy and simple, nestled deep into the woods at the end of a gravel road. The house was old but comfortable, surrounded by tall pines and spruces. We unpacked our stuff quickly, excited to explore. My parents cooked dinner while I explored the property. There wasn't much around, besides trees and a small clearing where I could kick my soccer ball. That first night felt completely normal. We made s'mores on the small fire pit behind the house and talked about plans for hiking the next day. We went to sleep early because we wanted to wake up at sunrise. The next day was amazing. We went hiking on a trail called Bear Lake. My dad told me stories about when he was younger, and my mom showed me how to identify animal tracks in the dirt. Everything felt great and nothing seemed strange. By the time we returned to the cabin, it was evening, and we were all tired. My mom cooked spaghetti, and we relaxed watching some old DVDs the owners had left. But it was the second night that things started to get weird. Around 2 a.m, I woke up needing to go to the bathroom. The cabin was dark, with only the dim glow from a hallway nightlight to guide me. I tiptoed past my parents' room so I wouldn't wake them. As I reached the hallway window, something made me stop and glance outside. Standing perfectly still, just about 10 feet away from the front porch, was a man wearing a mask. It was a white mask that covered his whole face, with wide black holes where the eyes should have been. He wasn't moving, not even a twitch, and he faced directly towards our cabin. My heart instantly started beating hard, and my legs froze in place. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. I stood there frozen, staring back at the masked figure. After a minute, which felt like forever, he slowly tilted his head, as if he noticed me looking at him through the window. Panic rushed over me, and I ran to my parents' bedroom, crying loudly. They both jumped awake and asked what was wrong. I told them there was a man in a scary mask standing outside. My dad quickly got up, grabbed a flashlight, and hurried to the living room window. My mom held me close, whispering that everything would be okay. But when my dad looked outside, he said no one was there. He opened the front door and shined his flashlight around the property. Nothing but trees and shadows. My parents told me it must have been a bad dream. I was sure it wasn't, but eventually, exhaustion overcame my fear, and I fell asleep between them. The next morning, we checked around the cabin. My dad found footprints in the dirt near the spot I described. Now he believed me. He was quiet and tense, and I noticed him whispering seriously to my mom when they thought I wasn't looking. We spent the whole day away from the cabin, trying to act normal. We drove around Estes Park, ate lunch in town, and visited small stores. My parents pretended nothing happened, but I could tell they were worried. That night, I felt nervous to sleep, but eventually I did. Around exactly 2 a.m. again, something woke me up. This time, it was a soft tapping sound coming from outside the living room window. My parents were already awake, standing in the living room, whispering nervously. They had heard it too. My dad turned off the lights inside, picked up a flashlight, and moved quietly toward the window. I followed behind, holding onto my mom's hand. When he pulled the curtain back slightly, we saw the masked man again, standing closer this time, directly outside the window. His face was tilted down, but as soon as the curtain moved, he raised his head slowly to look straight at us. His masked face, emotionless and white, stared directly at my dad. My dad stepped back quickly, his face turning pale. Without saying a word, he rushed to grab the car keys. My mom quickly put our essentials in a bag while I stood frozen, watching the masked man still standing there. He never moved. He just stood like a statue, looking straight into our cabin. Within minutes, we hurried outside, locking the door behind us. My dad kept me close as we ran toward the car parked on the gravel driveway. The masked man was gone from the window, and the darkness around us felt like it hid many eyes watching silently from behind the trees. We drove quickly down the gravel road, not looking back. I felt cold inside. The image of the masked man staring at me burned deeply into my memory. My parents were silent as we left Estes Park behind and eventually reached a motel closer to Boulder, where we stayed until sunrise. We never called the police. My parents argued about it briefly, but ultimately they chose not to. I think they were too frightened, or maybe they didn't believe anyone would take us seriously. Either way, we quietly returned home to Denver the next day, leaving the masked man behind us. Years passed, and my parents avoided speaking about that vacation, but I never forgot. Every time we drove past a dark, lonely forest or stayed somewhere new, I'd find myself watching the windows at night, half expecting to see a white mask silently staring back at me from the shadows. I sometimes wonder who he was, or what he wanted. Was it a prank? Was he dangerous? We never learned the answer, and part of me doesn't want to know. But since that night, I can't shake the feeling that someone, or something, could be silently watching me from outside my window, waiting patiently in the darkness. Before we dive into the next story, if you're visiting our channel for the first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon to stay updated with our upcoming scary stories. Your support means the world to us, so please share these stories with your friends and family. Thanks.